You want to know a secret? We need to unmask who Bobby the robot cat is once and for all. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I used to write a column called No Longer Quivering for a place called Pathos. It was about the evangelical quiverful movement and all the crazy connected to that. One of the things I've noticed lately is there's been a whole lot of speculation in every community about who Bobby is. Somebody accused Dina of being Bobby, and I adore Dina. Dina draws like a fiend. I used to love to watch her drawing videos because as a painter and as a fiber artist, drawing is something I just did very minimally, not with the kind of hardcore dedication that Dina does. So I can say confidently, Dina is not Bobby the robot cat, but I think I might know who is. Ouch, stop biting me. Stop biting me. Stop biting me. I know you don't want to be exposed as Bobby. Possible Bobby biting the crap out of me on camera. You're biting me. You're biting me. This guy is just mean enough and just ornery and independent enough to be the long rumored Bobby. Okay, so do you see how silly that is? As silly as my glasses and my fake bird. Everyone is speculating over Bobby left and right. And while that guy is mean enough to be him, but Bobby is more, how should we put it? He's more amusing than that. Does it matter who Bobby is? No. And I just kind of want to jump off a little bit the stuff I was going to talk about yesterday, but I wisely put it off a day until I was actually having something better of a mood than yesterday. Yesterday, I was losing my mind over the Russian, wasn't an insurrection. What did CNN call it? They upgraded it from an insurrection to a coup. Yesterday, the head of Wagner, which is a military, is there a nice way to say this? No, terrorist group. At the behest of Putin, Putin was sending them all over the place, Putin, to do his dirty work, the dirty work that he could not let the Russian army do. And the head of Wagner and all the Wagnerettes all turned on Putin. And yesterday and the day before, this insurrection coup, almost Russian Revolution, DOS, started happening, and I was freaking out. I was freaking out over that. I was highly triggered by the explosion of Titan because of the fact that I've been following the Titanic news and documentaries and things for years. After being, when I was a young married woman, my first marriage, my ex making claims about having relatives that had lived through the Titanic, which I know now is a bunch of baloney after I did a bunch of research on that. So it's just been really a hard week as far as things go. But for me, it's been like a hard month. I've just had one thing after another happen, and I'm not going to rehash all that. But that on top of everything else was just like really very super triggering on a week that has been triggering. But here's the thing that it did for me as of yesterday morning. It put everything in focus for me. And my focus is not on exposing who Bobby is or, oh, and he's out there fighting with the snake. That little jerk. I call him the hole of the butt many times because he is just not a nice guy. Not a nice guy. My cat is Stinky. He has chased Porky out of here. So where was I? I was talking about people exposing Bobby, other people calling for vendettas on whoever, and all of that, and the drama in the community. And I'm watching people I love because they're wonderful people engaging on all this crap. And I'm like, why? So, the other day I was doing the thing about Titan and the explosion of the Titanic, and I was telling all you guys to love your relatives, love on them, love on your loved ones, because we don't know how much time we're going to be here. I want to reiterate that. And not only love on our loved ones, maybe not waste your breath, your mind, your brain cells on stuff like that, on stuff like who is doing what to whom and who has got what going on. Let's be better than that. For me, I can't go back to that, at least not for a few days. I have to have at least kind of a little break between drama in the community and watching a bunch of people lose their lives and the possible thing that was going on in Russia. And why was I freaked out about Russia? I was freaked out about Russia because I lived in Europe for some years as a young married woman. And here's what I can tell you. And this was back when it was a USSR. It was not even Russia at that point. Here's what I can tell you. The people there are wonderful. There are some very wonderful people I've met through the years. I'm talking about the people on the ground. I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about the military. I'm talking about the average citizen. Even the military, the ones I met, nice people. Even if they are attacking Ukraine right now, which is wrong. It's got to end. I'm hoping this is the final thing that ends it. The reason I was freaking out is that Wagner had captured a lot of the, I'm sorry, the birds are distracting me. ADD is a wonderful thing, isn't it? They had captured southern military strongholds, like Rostov, and some places that had nuclear capability. So they had captured nukes. I don't know much about Putin, beyond that he seems to be a heartless, soulless bastard. Yes, YouTube, spank me for saying it. And there's nothing I like about him. Rides around on his horse shirtless. But here's what I do know. He showed himself to be extraordinarily weak yesterday. And just because the head of Wagner, who I'm not going to even attempt his name because I know I would mangle it. My husband is a Russian linguist in our household. He was a 98 golf in the military. He is great with his Russian. Me, I suck all kinds of ways trying to say Russian. Because it's a southern in me, I can't always say that stuff right. It's kind of like, yeah, and the tireder I get, the more like Ellie Mae Clampett I start to sound. So it's not a pretty sight, particularly if I'm doing stuff like trying to speak Spanish and German is coming out with my accent, with my southern accent, and I'm tired. Oh my gosh. So, and it's funny because now the birds are coming down. They're looking in the window at me with a bird on my head, and I'm sure they're wondering what's going on. So back to the Russia. We were trying to, by what happened, it exposes how actually weak and vulnerable the Putin is. He's quite weak, and I think that we're going to see, this is my prediction, another Russian strongman arise and attempt to take power from him quite shortly. I have read that some people said, "Oh, it was just an attempt to get the military out." And then everybody in Fundy Town, the people I watch at Evangelicalism, they're all saying that Joe Biden and the CIA engineered the Wagner thing, and I don't buy that a bit. Russia is a difficult place. Russia, as a country, has conquered Napoleon, and conquered the Germans when they tried to come across in World War II. Russia is a proud place. Their people are proud. They're warriors in their own rights. Russia's weather makes it pretty much set apart in its own way. It's hard to conquer them. And a strong man will arise. And I'm sad to say that. There needs to be a second Russian Revolution, I think. And I think Putin needs to go. But if it buys us a worse guy or somebody who has purposely tortured people, like the guy from Wagner is rumored to have done. He was in Syria, and I saw a video of him and a Syrian's hands and feet being crushed on camera the other day. And I just can't wrap my mind around that cruelty. So if we had a cruel strongman came in who was actually worse than Putin, and they had nuclear capability, I want you to think about that, because it would not just be something that Russia and their surrounding countries would suffer from. We would have to worry about it too worldwide. Why? Because Russia is a superpower with all of their nuclear capacity and such. They, casually lobbed a nuke or two. It would make Chernobyl look like a Sunday church picnic. The radiation levels would be all over Europe, all over the world in its own way. And we would have to have Geiger counters to measure that crap left and right and try and figure out what went on. Not only that, it's the same problem you have when you have volcanoes. You have super volcanoes. The ash from a nuclear fallout and from a volcano, a big volcano, a super volcano, could blot out the sun and ruin the crops for at least a year. Do we really have that much food storage in the world? Millions would die. And from the fallout, from the crop failures, it would be a worldwide unprecedented disaster. So that's why I was freaking out yesterday. And I want to give you a little warning about the news sites. I know I'm getting heavy when I started out real light. I'm sorry about that. This has just been on my mind. Yesterday, I was almost crying talking about it in a video, and I ended up not posting the video. It was like, nobody's got time for that mess. And where was I? My ADD, I don't remember. Talking about being a worldwide whatever and how heavy and all of that. It is heavy thinking. You know me, I'm one of those peaceniks. I don't want to see war in any way, shape, or form. I want to see when countries are unfairly attacked by superpowers, others to come on and defend. To see, we used to have what, the United Nations peacekeeping force. I'd like to see that utilized in this Russian-Ukraine conflict. I'd like to see Russia recede and the Ukrainian people be allowed to rebuild. The war there has worried me because Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. A lot of the wheat that is consumed in Europe is raised right there in the Ukraine. So this isn't over, not by a long shot. But for now it is. We've bought a little time. So that's why I'm saying this drama that's going on in this community is just ridiculous. When you think about the fact that we may be on the precipice of something really deadly and horrible for all of us. And then I see people fighting over who a robot cat is. I see others that are fighting over ancient history. I see others that are fighting over the definition of words and things. And I'm just like, hee, that's so silly. I mean, none of that matters a hill of beans right now. Or actually, it never really matters anyway. And this is me saying this, even though some of the people doing this I actually like a lot. I'm just not calling them out by name because I don't think that is very helpful. I don't think calling people out is a helpful thing. You just add to the drama. So go hug your loved ones. Think about life and what really matters. And don't worry about the dramas. Don't worry about who Bobby the robot cat is. I certainly don't. Not even when Bobby made that video about me. I just was sighed and said, oh well, breathe in, breathe out, move on. Maybe that would drive more hits to my channel, my poor little channel. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my fake bird off my head because so far the moths and the great kiskadees and the little tiny little finch-like critters we get, they've all come down close to the window to look at my head. And I know they're going, why is there a bird on her head? One of the things I love about Costa Rica, and I love about living here, is there's no such thing as zoos here. There are only animal rescues, and they hang on to animals in some of these rescue places for a long time because not everybody can be released back into the wild. When I could walk, I still volunteered sometimes at those places. I can't do that now. And concentrate on what's real. Yesterday, I had 3 different people I know contact me asking me sewing advice. I gave them sewing advice for free over the internet. And real things like that. Real things. I haven't been able to touch my book. I was supposed to edit it while my husband was out of town, my final edit. But my right arm has gone haywire. I've got something really wrong with it. I got to go back to the doctor tomorrow and find out what's going on. So it's just pushing everything back. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the real things in life. I'm not going to add fake worries to everything else. Love all you guys, even you guys that are fighting, that are just making me look at you like going, really? Really? Is that really how you want to spend your time? Even you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday. And I hope you have a good start to your week. Mine is not going to be good. I got to go back to the doctor farm. And then on Tuesday, I have to pick up a certain cranky somebody from the airport. He's coming back home, which means I have a little cleaning to do. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Mop the kitchen floor and do a few things.